Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Marvel Plus, the podcast devoted to all things MCU. My name is Brett Scott. I am your host, and this is the 6th day in a row that we're back here doing the show. And today I brought back a returning guest, one of my favorite people in the world, someone who I'm sure is not caught up on this series at all. But that's the wonderful thing about What If is you can kind of hop in anywhere and still enjoy it. Ladies and gentlemen, my good friend, Kurt Schmidt.
What's up, Brad? How are you?
I'm doing good, dude. I'm going strong. I'm recording the episodes daily. I said I'd do it. I'm trying to stick to that. Some days I don't have guests and I got to do it solo. That's fine. But luckily you were free today. I know you've had a really busy month, and so it's kind of funny. I was hesitant to ask you to be on. I wanted you to be on early on, but then I'm like, Kurt's got a lot going on. So, but lo and behold, I look at my podcast feed yesterday and I see there's a 3-hour podcast with you and Ryan Fraseri for a Christmas special. And I'm like, what the hell, man? Okay, well, I'm not gonna feel bad about asking him to podcast for 30 minutes then. So I really enjoyed your guys' your Christmas episode.
Thanks. I appreciate that. It was I had a lot of fun with that. It was I really enjoyed listening back. I listen to everything that I record, and
That's because you're a narcissist.
I don't know about that, but
sociopath.
Yeah, I maybe that more than a narcissist. But I enjoyed listening to at least the first half of it. The second half, I really annoyed myself with the amount of uhs I had in there.
Whatever. I do it all the time, dude. My last episode was just me by myself, and I must have said 35 times. So
yeah,
whatever. That's what you get when you don't script anything and you off the cuff podcast. Sometimes there's gonna be some ums and ahs, and who has time to edit?
not me. I have an episode of something in the bag for 8 months now because I haven't had time to edit.
Yes. Man. Speaking of that, so you and Ryan actually started your own podcast all about the Daredevil comic book series. And I've been enjoying the few episodes that you put out. I can't wait for you to put out some more. But anytime I get to hear you guys podcast together, I enjoy it. So that's why I had to tune in when I saw that Christmas special. It was a complete surprise. I didn't know that was coming.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it was nice, man. It was really nice. We talked about that briefly before, and we were scheduled to do it weeks before. But yeah, I've had man, it's been a hell of a month, a hell of a year for me. But yeah, hopefully, I need stuff like this. Like today, making this work is a little crazy, but it's tough, man. I gotta stop saying those ums. It's nice to have. I need a deadline. I need a deadline, and you hit it, and whatever. You just gotta make shit work, right?
Yeah, and I found too that leaving stuff up in the air, it almost never gets done. If you're yeah, man, we're gonna record sometime in the next couple weeks, it just doesn't come.
Yeah,
and then it's Christmas Eve, and you're like, we got to record this Christmas episode.
Exactly. It didn't get to that point with us, luckily enough. But yeah, man, I tell people are always calling me looking for help for stuff, and I tell people, if you really want to get it done, you just got to tell me a date. Tell me you need it done by this day, or else I say, yeah, okay, forever.
Yep. I'm the same way.
Yeah,
I'm the same way. My wife tells me to do something, I'm like, yeah, I'll do that. And of course, to me, I'm like, I was agreeable. I will do it. I have no problem. But you got to tell me when, because I'll do it, no problem. But you have to tell me when you need it done. You need it done today, tomorrow. You can't just say I need this done.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So we're gonna try really hard today. much like we did with Steve Banvard, who is also, like you, known to run a little long in the podcast department, which is my favorite thing about you guys. But in this kind of instance, it's kind of helpful if we, keep it to like 30 minutes. So, like Steve Banvard, I'm going to put you to the test. We're going to keep that ADHD at bay. We're going to fight it off, and we're going to plow through this podcast.
Challenge accepted.
So, first things first, am I right in my assessment that you probably haven't watched any of these episodes yet until today?
100% right. I don't even know if I finished season 1, to tell you the truth.
I'm sure you did. I'm sure you did, because you were like much more into it at that point, and we were talking back and forth a lot at that point. So
yeah, this is the first episode I've watched, and I think I'm glad about that.
Yeah,
I think so, man. You know what? If watching this episode makes me want to, it kind of makes me want to watch the rest of them. Kind of not, but
it's a tough one.
It's a good episode. I thought this was a great episode.
No, I agree 100%. I'll tell you right now, Kurt, this season has been awesome of What If. Like, yeah. Whereas I feel like season 1 was really good, but it had some hit or misses. Like, there were some episodes that were just like, I could do without that one. This season so far, every episode surprised the hell out of me, because the titles sound really lame.
Yeah,
almost every title, they sound like really lame. Yeah. And then you get into them, and it's like, how do they get to that title? And you find out like the circumstances of this world. It's so much better than you imagined it was going to be. Like the Captain Carter episode, the last one, last yesterday, was phenomenal. Okay. Phenomenal episode. And all the other ones were really great too. They surprise you. Like the very first one is about Nebula, and it sounds like, okay, whatever. What if Nebula joined the Nova Corps? Okay. But you get into it and you're like, oh, I'm watching Marvel's version of Blade Runner. Like, this is actually cool. It's like a detective noir, futuristic. It's pretty badass. But I think you'll enjoy these episodes. I really do. And I agree with you. This episode, I think the best thing about it is that it was fresh. It's a brand new person to meet and find out about, a brand new character, and the concept was cool. What did you think about just this overall concept of Ragnarok happens hundreds of years earlier, and the Tesseract ends up crashing down to Earth in the New World before the Spanish even get here?
Yeah. All of that is kind of like over my head, pointless. Like, I don't even okay. Like,
you don't care? You don't care about that part?
No, like, whatever. Like, who cares? Like, it's like meaningless. It's like it literally like means nothing. It's just yeah, I don't know. That was like in one ear and out the other. That was like the very beginning, right? And I'm trying to what are they talking about? Ragnarok, Tesseract?
Yeah.
And like, you go get into the episode and it's like, all right, I don't need any of that. Like, the worst parts of this episode is where they try to tie it into the MCU. Like
I see what you're saying. Like it could just be its own thing and be perfectly fine without having to be part of like, oh, this is how this happened. Because I mean, I kind of disagree, because I really like my favorite thing about the episodes is how the world is different than the one we know, and like what circumstances set up this story. I think it's because that's like usually the most clever part. Like, I'm really interested to see, I think it's next week, or not next week, it's either tomorrow or the day after, there's an episode where, like, what if the Avengers assembled in 1602 or something?
Okay.
And I'm like really curious to how the hell that like happens. You know what I mean? And is it the same Avengers? Is it somehow the same Avengers, or is it like completely all brand new characters of people that were alive in 1602, like descendants maybe of the Avengers, something? But it's like the unknown is like, wow, I want to see how they managed to have the Avengers in 1602. Um, but yeah, you're right though. That's just the backstory. It's like how we got here. It's kind of like what happened differently to make this world what it is. But you don't really need to know that to meet this character. The lake could have just been a mystical lake. You know, you don't really need it to be the Tesseract. It could be a standalone story. Kind of like, I don't know if you know this. Do you have Netflix?
Yeah.
So there's a brand new movie out, and I almost said Scott Snyder, Zack Snyder film,
Okay.
and it's called Rebel Moon.
All right.
It was initially intended to be a Lucasfilm Star Wars project.
Really?
Yes. With all new characters, which is what we want. It's like, this is what we want in Star Wars. Give us something different than the Skywalker saga. Well, they decided not to go with that. And so he just tweaked a few things and made it his own. He made his own movie.
Nice.
Nice. And it's so it's so much biting on Star Wars though, because you know that was the concept that he had to work with when he created it. And so there's a lot of stuff that is like a lot of crossover, like laser swords and like things like this. Clearly the title Rebel Moon, it sounds like a Star Wars thing. Yeah. But it looks like it's going to be some sort of like multi-film thing, like a trilogy maybe, and this is the first of it. And I started watching it last night. Pretty damn cool. But that kind of like that I don't remember why I was saying this. I think it was because it's you don't need it to be part of the Star Wars universe to still be badass.
Yeah.
You know, so far I'm enjoying it. I don't know how it's going to play out, but it seems it's Zack Snyder, and I like the way he does stuff, man. Some people shit on it, but I love almost everything he's done. You know.
Yeah, I like everything he did up till DC stuff.
I like, dude. The DC stuff grew on me like after. Anyway, and now I'm the one getting up. It's my ADHD that's taken over here. Rebel Moon.
Yeah, we've how the turntables
turn.
It was an Office reference. He doesn't finish that sentence.
Jumping sharks all day over here. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so this episode starts out as I said. You know, Ragnarok happens way earlier than expected. Asgard is destroyed. The Tesseract ends up on Earth like 400, 500 years earlier. Lands in the New World before the English or even the Spanish have really arrived. And the story we get later is that like there was some tribal warring over this. They didn't even know what it was because this Tesseract landed in a lake, and it basically like mystified this lake. It made it have some sort of power, and people would disappear into it, never to be seen again. And I would think if something like that happened, I wouldn't be warring over that lake. I'd be like, you can have this lake. It's fine. You guys can have it. But anyway, they end up making peace and saying, hey, you know what, let's just make this lake off limits because we don't want any more people getting sucked into the lake and disappearing forever.
Yeah.
Then we get to this story a little bit down the line, like maybe a couple generations later or something, with this girl, Kahori. And one thing I really enjoyed about this episode is that they used actual, and I didn't even know that Mohawk was a tribe, like a people, an Indian or a Native American peoples. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But these are all actual Mohawks, like that had to that, or at least the Mohawk people had a lot to do with the production, and obviously it's their actual language that they're using, which I thought was cool. But we meet Kahori, they're running through the woods, and the Spanish show up. Right? So you've got the only English speaking so far is the Watcher. Yeah. You know, we got the Mohawk language, we've got Spanish, So without subtitles, I'd be completely lost. But Spanish show up, and quickly we find out like they're not just there just to come and rape and pillage and take over. Like they're there specifically because they've heard stories about this mystical lake, and they believe it's probably the fountain of youth. So they come here for that, and obviously do what they do. They want to enslave the people as well and take over. And um, but because Kahori gets sucked into the lake
Yeah.
while these conquistadors are there to trying to take over, enslaving the people. And yeah, man, what do you think about, like, I don't even know where they really go when they get sucked into the Tesseract. Like, I don't know where this other place really is, but they call it Sky World. But um, what did you make of this whole other, like, I don't know, it's like a different reality.
I didn't think too much about that. I didn't think about where they were. I just kind of figured it was a I don't know, like a mirrored world or something. Like it was just
Yeah.
like a I was wondering if that was their, to go back a minute or so. I was wondering if that was like their actual language, like the Mohawks' actual language. I thought that was
Mhm.
I thought that was pretty cool. I thought it was I don't know, a pretty language. It
Yeah.
yeah, it sounded really
Yeah,
nice.
it's not German, you know? Sounds
Nice. Yeah. No, it's not. It was really nice to listen to.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, the the new world that she was in, I
Mhm.
thought it was pretty cool. How it was represented and how the people there were her. I don't know who the guy was, but like her guide through the new world. Her
Yeah.
new whatever. He was he was pretty peaceful and stuff, and he was,
Yeah.
yeah, he was pretty welcoming, and it was cool. I really enjoyed the animation. I don't know if all
Yeah.
the episodes look like this, but I
They
really
do.
like the facial animations. I thought were pretty cool. It was a little strange. Like it was I don't know. I don't even know how to describe it. It was like so smooth and like flowing. Like it was a little different.
Yeah.
But yeah, the world and the way everybody looked. I liked that they gave everyone like this blue tint power thing or whatever.
Yeah.
She her power, like she powered up like faster than She Hulk powered up. But I guess you know, in a 30-minute episode or whatever, you got to
Yeah.
fly through. So
Yeah, I
um
mean, Star Wars had 3 films, and they made Rey super powerful in like 10 minutes. So,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah,
Um, but yeah, I it kind of like gave me like Wakanda vibes. You know what I mean? Like rather
yeah,
than the vibranium, it kind of uh being injected into the land there or whatever. It was the Tesseract, which I thought was interesting. We never really seen. I've never seen the Tesseract like I guess they do travel. Like Loki literally travels to the TVA and all that, like through that. So you can
yeah,
teleport with it clearly, but I didn't know you could go to just other worlds. Like this is kind of weird. And like, are these the only people in that world? Because it's the only people we see, and
yeah.
it's like it's their own little place.
I like,
Uh,
in whether it's in the real world or like their blue world, like the
mhm.
Indians are, they're just content with living within like a 2 mile radius. Like
Yeah,
they don't give me some buffalo to kill
yeah.
and trees to live in, and we're fine.
You know, and that's one of the things that kind of made me think like maybe they were transported to another planet altogether because they had those different creatures there.
Yeah,
Like, you know, it was like their version of buffalo, and rather than having
yeah,
to kill them, they just
yeah,
plucked these things off of them, which was kind of cool. Um,
yeah.
but yeah, I thought that whole concept was cool. Like I don't know where people think of these things, but I thought it was a pretty inventive idea. And then, you know, she obviously she wants to get out, and you can see the portal up in the sky and they can't get to it. Like they've tried, and even she tries and she can't. But like you said, she powers up really quick. Like she becomes the best hunter in like 2 days, and everyone loves her. And but she still can't get out of the portal. Um, and then back home, everyone's being enslaved and everything. And she starts to feel some guilt when she starts to settle in and like enjoy herself there. Kind of settle in like this is her new home, and she feels a little bit like, you know what, I can't forget about, like, I just saw my villages burning right before I left. I'm not going to get too comfortable here. And she kind of scolds the rest of the people there, like, you're forgetting about your people.
Yeah.
You just content to like be blissfully unaware of what's going on somewhere else, and be happy here while other people are suffering. So uh, she, through this speech, I guess, the Tesseract kind of helps her out and comes down so that she can transport herself back. And another great thing about the animation in this, because you mentioned how cool the animation was, is it works really well for action sequences. Like
Yeah.
everything's so smooth and so quick, but you still see it like in detail. That the Captain Carter episode was phenomenal, especially because of that. I think you'll like that episode. Everyone seems to love that episode, but it's like it's it has to do with the Red Room and Black Widow and the Widows and um like kind of a, I don't want to ruin anything, but a kind of a different world version of what would be a Winter Soldier character,
Oh yeah.
to Peggy's Cap. Yeah. So
Huh.
a lot of fun. Anyway, she goes back and she kicks ass. Like she's taking dudes out like it's nothing, taking out these Spanish conquistadors, right? And she I do like though that they didn't make her so incredibly powerful that she couldn't, like, she can be overwhelmed, obviously, because once they turn the cannons on her,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like when they shoot little musket balls, yeah, she pulls the Neo and she does that. She stops the musket balls in
That,
midair. Very
that's
Matrix.
like Magneto, man. I thought she was like the
Ah,
female Magneto, because then she like takes the guns from them and stuff.
oh yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
That's what I.
very Magneto.
Yeah, I like the
Yeah,
cannonball. I really liked like when they shot the cannons at her, and then like the
uh-huh.
one like makes its way through. I love like the kerplunk sound or whatever it made when
Yes,
it when it
yes.
rung her bell. That was awesome.
It was a satisfying sound effect, man. It was good.
Yeah,
But yeah, it was great that she could be overwhelmed just by, humans using weapons. So, she's not completely invincible, and I like
yeah,
that. And she actually ended up needing, uh, basically the next scene after she gets knocked unconscious is the end game moment. Like she hears over her earpiece, like uh whatever on your left, right? Here come all the people through the portal, and they storm in, and it's curtains for the Spanish. Like not even a contest when you have that many of these superpowered individuals. This did give me kind of anything that alludes to like what mutant powers might look like in the MCU gets me really excited. So like seeing these characters, seeing brand new characters that are super powered and seeing them use those powers, like that's one thing I really liked about the Eternals is when they showed them using powers. And so I don't know, just gets me hyped for like X-Men stuff.
yeah,
I'm not as big on like the mystical power, like the like Wanda's witch powers and stuff so much in the MCU. But people with like mutant abilities, which this is what it feels like they have, uh, that gets me excited. It's like,
yeah,
what's it gonna look like when they really bring in some mutants? Like, how visceral is it gonna be? How real is it gonna look? Because I always felt like it's tough to do live action powers, man.
yeah, yeah. It
Like,
is.
it
It's
never quite looks right.
no, it doesn't feel right. It's I don't know. It's
Mm.
tough. it's tough. Like
Yeah,
it's nothing. I think it's just because it's like nothing you can see. Like it's tough to convey that, you
yeah.
know.
It's nothing to. There's nothing you can compare it to, and especially when they have something like mind powers or just levitating things. It's I don't know. It is. It's tough to do, and I hope that they pull it off in a way that feels like real. Like the early MCU did. Like, yeah, it's far fetched that these people have these abilities or whatever, but the storytelling makes it so that you're like, yeah, I can kind of believe that. Like, I can believe in a super soldier, right? Like, I
Dude,
can picture what that might be like.
the stuff like the stories, I think get you so like wound up inside of them. Like you don't even have a
Yeah.
moment to reconsider how or to consider how like far fetched it might be. Whereas like some of the newer
Yeah.
stuff, like I feel maybe like you're so bored with it that it's just like this is ridiculous. Like this couldn't and
Yeah. Yeah, I think how they do powers is either going to uh, blend right in with the story and work really well, or it can take you completely out of the story. Like if you see something that's so ridiculous, you're like, "Ah, that didn't," or like if the CGI is bad, it can take you
Yeah.
right out of a story now.
Yeah.
Because there's such good CGI in other projects that if you see bad CGI, it takes you out of the story. Like you said, you're so uh, like sucked into this story. But
Yeah.
if you have something that's glaringly obvious, takes you right out of it. Kind of
Yeah.
ruins it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like not I mean, I don't know. I feel like it's the go-to whether me or you, but like we pick on Wanda and stuff. And I think back to like that Wanda vision and at the end where they're like
Hmm.
they're spell balls at each other or whatever, and they're like
Yeah.
floating in
Yeah.
time. It just kind of takes you out. But if you think and you think of the any of the X-Men movies where you have the professor like stop stuff with his mind and he could have a
Hmm.
conversation with Magneto or anybody and he just literally stopped time and it's all in his head and you don't see anything. You don't question it or like you don't complain about it or anything
Right.
because like you're just sucked into that moment. You're sucked into the story and you've given it all in. Like it just it was so much better um,
Yeah.
than any of this other than some of the other stuff. Not not any of it, but some of it. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's where like
And I'm really
like
hoping that they go ahead.
oh, I was just gonna say it's like it's almost similar with like Hawkeye. Like you can Hawkeye or Black Widow. You could totally suspend that reality. Like these two people with like these powerless people, right? The guy's got
Yeah.
like a bow and he like he's holding his own in the Avengers in the first Avengers movie, any Avengers movie, right? um
Yeah.
and, question it, you kind of do but you don't, not as much as you do anybody else, people with magical powers, right? Like it's I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think any differently about like Hawkeye and his abilities than I do with like Cap and his abilities. Like it is what it
Yeah.
is. It's like that's their skill set. Like he's very skilled, he's very strong. Like he's kind of
Yeah.
impervious to things. So yeah, I think if the story's done right, you get sucked in enough, and as long as the effects aren't terrible, you
Yeah.
buy in.
I don't know what any of this has to do with Kahori or the Spaniards.
No, no, nothing. Um, no, it does. We were talking about their powers and using their powers and stuff. And though it is animation, it's still cool to see like
It is.
these powered
Yeah.
people, um, and like an entire tribe of powered people was that's pretty damn cool. Um, but so let's get into like you know the title line of the episode. It's what if Kahori reshaped the world, and we get into that after this. After this battle, then we see she's not stopping there. Like she travels through the portal, goes to Spain, confronts the Queen. Um, I thought that was an awesome scene. Uh, Shatters the throne in midair. Like you said, very Magneto esque with her
Yeah.
powers.
That's
Um,
yeah. feeling I got from her. Like that's definitely the feeling I got from her.
Yeah, and so she's going to force the world into peace, right? And kind of the way of the native people, which maybe wouldn't be such a bad thing. So that's what we're
Yeah.
going with it. They're going to go around and they're going to spread their religion around the earth, like everyone else.
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's not it, because we don't get a post-credit scene, but we do get a final scene of the episode where I guess it's Strange Supreme shows up. Doctor Strange shows up saying that he's been looking for her. So I'm guessing this is kind of going the direction of season 1, where for some reason they're gathering up these people, because there are spoilers, there are some other like things that refer back to last season and stuff in other episodes. And so it kind of makes you believe that if not everyone that was part of that like Guardians of the Multiverse that they made in the final episodes of that series or of that season, at least some of them, and then some new characters as well. Which I'm glad. If they're going to create another team to battle something, bring in some new blood. And a brand new character like this is like extremely welcome. I'm so glad that we get someone brand new, not just a variant of someone we already know, but an entirely new character, and a Native American character. We don't have John Proudstar, but maybe this is going to be our John Proudstar. Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah.
Um,
They're doubling down on their Native American women, right?
yes. Yes. So what overall, what do you think of the episode?
I really enjoyed it, man. I really liked it. I'd like to see. I'd see more. I'd watch more of this character for sure. It is somebody I have no clue. I imagine she's from the comics.
She's
Uh,
not.
she's not at all. She's
No.
100%. Wow.
Yes. From what I looked at, so I just looked up like who is Kahori, Marvel Comics, Marvel Universe, and the only description it has of her is from this
This.
series.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah,
So
I've never heard of her before.
yeah,
But I didn't. I thought maybe she was newer. That's pretty cool. I'm really surprised with that. But it was a cool episode. Is it like the Ragnarok thing that doesn't? I don't know. Whatever. I could take or leave that. It doesn't bother me
yeah,
much. The Strange thing, I could have done without. I could have really done without that. I didn't need that. Um,
right.
but yeah, it was cool. I love how I thought it, like watching it through, I'm like, man, like this, I felt like what a perfect episode. I felt like this really like this girl, she like the story like really speaks to me and you on like a different level. Like it's like the people I love, it's like I feel like I was watching a female Kobe Bryant or Jordan or like
Yeah,
like it's not good. Like, oh, I'm in paradise. F paradise, man. Like
yeah.
I want it. Like, you guys are a bunch of bums. Like,
Stay hard.
yeah, right. Like,
She's the David Goggins of the MCU.
yeah. She's like calling all those guys. You guys a bunch of bitches, right? Like,
Yeah,
like what do you do? You're
yeah.
sitting on your ass doing nothing.
Oh,
Like,
he's sitting on the couch eating bonbons over here.
they are. They're eating bonbons off
Yeah,
the X, right? Like,
yeah. They need to be taking cold showers and running ultra marathons.
exactly. Yeah, and that right. She's like, you guys call this fast? I'll show you fast. Like, you
Yeah.
call
Yes.
hunting? This is hunting? Like, what the hell? She made a joke of those guys. What a bunch of fools, right?
You know what? It's I sometimes I wish that I titled my episodes differently than just the title of the show, because I would title this the David Goggins of the MCU. Like that would be the title of the episode.
Nothing stopping
So,
you. You go,
I
man.
know. Yeah. It is my show. I guess I can do whatever the hell I want.
For show. put that in the headline, and you'll have like double the downloads.
Actually, you're probably right about that. You're 100% right. All right.
Yeah.
Well, dude, I agree with you 100%. I thought it was a fresh, new take, a fun episode. I thought it was really good. I admire anyone who can write a brand new character, a full introduction, and a badass story and cram it into 30 minutes like that and still it be cohesive and like a memorable story. Like I'll remember her origin, you know? So yeah, I thought it was fantastic. Yeah, one of the highlights of this entire series of the What If series, because we don't get new characters in the MCU, especially ones that aren't already derivatives from the comics. Like you don't get brand new characters. This is pretty damn cool. Just to have something that no nerds know anything about. Like they can't come in and be like, "Oh, well, you don't know the real version of Cole." Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do, punk. This is it. So, yeah, it was great, man. And you were great. Thank you for being here, dude. Thanks for doing this. And we're under 40 minutes. We're doing good. We did good. All right, dude. Well, thank you so much. Tell everyone where they can get your podcast that hardly ever comes out.
You can find it on YouTube. It is man, I don't even know the name of it now. It's
the Cast Without Fear.
Cast Without Fear, Daredevil Comics podcast. It is on YouTube.
Yes.
We will have new episodes in the new year. So yeah, my goal going forward is at least 12 episodes. I think one episode a month is doable. I think that
Write
is
it down.
All right, I'm writing it down. I got a notepad right in front of me. I'll write it down.
Write it down, sir. Make
it
real.
All right, it's real. It's really happening.
All right, man. Well, I got to get back to work. I'm sure you got to get back to it. I know you were doing something.
Yeah. Yes, I was about to do some stuff. Yes.
Building some shelves back there or something. You're always doing something, Kurt. You're always busy.
Yeah. Look who's talking.
Touche. All right. Thanks a lot, Kurt. Hopefully get to talk to you again soon for a longer episode.
Yeah, that'd be great. Look forward to it. Oh, all
right, man.
For another American chick, man. That's what's next.
Another Native American? What are you talking about?
The next
Echo.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, you got to be on for Echo. That's going to be a good series, Kurt. You can't deny that looks good. That looks good.
I will not deny it, man. I'm booked for one of the episodes, and
absolutely,
and put it down.
Okay. You want me to write it down? I'll write it down.
You're gonna get in 1 month this year. You're gonna get like 3 episodes out of me. You'll get 1 of my own and 2 out of you.
Oh well, me and Ryan Fraserio will have something in common then.
Yeah.
All right, man. Thank you again, as always. Take it easy, dude.
You too.